Hi, folks. Welcome to week number 6 of Interpersonal Communications Online at Hennepin Technical College for fall of 2014. This is just our weekly YouTube video to help make sure that you are on track and just an opportunity for me to give you some tips and advice for being successful in our course. I'm recording this on Friday morning, September 26th. This is for next week, though, however, which is week number 6, September 29th through October 3rd. It seems really odd to me that we are all already looking at October. So next week we are going to be focusing on nonverbal communication. This week we looked at verbal communication, looking at how words are used, how important our use of language is. Hopefully you picked up some great ideas and skill suggestions for improving your verbal communication. And now this week we kind of turn and we look at another channel for communication, which is our nonverbal communication. As your textbook points out, nonverbal communication gives us over half of the meaning that we get from communication. So we understand it to be an extremely important channel in our communication process. If not, a lot of folks would argue the most important channel, which is really an interesting thing to note if we look at how prevalent the use of texting is. And how when we text with someone, and you know, when I ask in my face-to-face classes, how many of you use text messaging as your main source of communication with those that you are in relationship with? More than half, and pretty dang close to all of my students, will say they use texting as their main communication mode. And while texting is very heavy on the written language, it completely takes out that channel of nonverbal communication. The exception to that would be if you're using emoticons or emojis. And I think that's part of the reason that those are so popular in text messaging, is it tells that person how you're feeling about what you're saying. So nonverbal, very important. I also think it's a great opportunity for you to think about your own, not only just the way that you use gestures or space, but your physical appearance. What messages are you communicating based on your physical appearance? And I think not that I'm encouraging that you should change your physical appearance, but just the awareness of how people perceive you. So that's what we're studying as far as content this week. You do have 2 assignments that are due this week. Discussion post number 2 and then 2 responses to classmates, both due by Wednesday, October 1st at 11:59. And then of course quiz again on Friday, October 3rd by 11:59. So those are our 2 assignments. Notice as we look ahead for next week, you do have a quiz next week. And then we have a break, which is wonderful. No classes, that MEA break, Wednesday through Friday. And we have no assignments due that week at all. So I just really want you to enjoy that time, take a break. If you have children, it's a great opportunity. I know a lot of kids have MEA break during that time. So if you notice, it's in our halfway mark of our semester. So it's a great chance to kind of take a deep breath, relax a little bit, and then we're going to jump right back in on week number 9 with discussion postings. I do just want to kind of look ahead a little bit with you, and do point out though that you do have your second written assignment is your instruction manual that is due at the end of October. If you do find yourself with some extra time, and especially these weeks that we just have quizzes, I would encourage you to look ahead at that assignment. I won't talk about that assignment probably until week number 7, but I do want to encourage you to look ahead at that assignment, and if you have the time and the motivation, that you certainly could start to work on that. With the reading that we have in place so far, you could actually write that assignment after reading chapter 5. So feel free if you do want to work ahead to do that. I did just want to have a couple of quick comments here about, I did finish your reading and grading your perception interviews, and for the most part, folks, these were very, very good. I was impressed with your ability to analyze your 3 lists, to compare and contrast the differences. The one thing that I did find myself commenting on occasionally was make sure that as you're looking at the grading rubric that you read it closely. For example, in step number 3, after you compared the differences and similarities, I did ask you to analyze the noise present in your interviews and then the context. And a lot of you analyze the noise. And remember, noise is anything that interferes with the communication. So physical noise in the environment, psychological noise, things that are going on in your head, anything that gets in the way is considered noise. And a lot of you did a fairly good job of doing that, but then you did not analyze the context. And remember, context is another way of saying the surroundings, what's happening, what, where is, and what are the elements surrounding the communication. So again, when we look at context, we could look at the physical context. So what is the physical space that this interview took place in? We can look at the historical context of a relationship. How long has this relationship been going on? What has happened in the past in this relationship? So those are elements of context. So I did want you to analyze both noise and context for step number 3. So as you're doing your writing assignments, do make sure that you carefully read that rubric and make sure that you're hitting all of those requirements. One of the things that I have had students do, and I think is a great suggestion, is to actually cut and paste the written requirements into your Word document that you're writing your paper. And that way, if those written requirements are right in your paper, you're much more apt to make sure that they're included in your paper. So just wanted to give you that feedback. Overall, like I said, though, the papers were very good. I was very impressed with your ability to analyze and apply. It really shows me that you understand, and this information just isn't definitions or concepts, but you actually can apply them in your own communication or to your own communication, which to me is the real benefit. Yes, I get this is a general education course and you're jumping hoops to get it done, and I truly do appreciate that. But the way I look at it, as long as you're spending the time and the money to take this course, you might as well get some skills that will help you be a better communicator. So when I look at papers and I see that you really can apply these concepts and ideas to your own communication, that's truly what for myself as an instructor, that's really what I want you to walk away with, is that you have sharper, stronger communication skills. Okay, I do want to really quick, I'm just going to go back here to Table of Contents under Course Materials, and I do want to go in and talk just really quickly about your discussion posting that is due. And it's under Unit number 5. So the discussion post for this one is to watch a TED Talk. If you've not ever seen a TED Talk, it's a wonderful web page where they bring together folks from all different areas and have just very, very interesting presentations that they give. This one is by Amy Cuddy, who is a social psychologist. And the title of her talk is Your Body Language Shapes Who You Are. And I have a little description here for you as well. It's a wonderful video and it relates so well to this chapter. So it's about a 21-minute video. So your first step, of course, is to watch the video. And then there are 2 questions that I'm asking that you would answer. The first one is, do you agree with Amy Cuddy that you can fake it until you make it using nonverbal communication? And the second one is, think of a communication experience in which you needed to consciously project a nonverbal image. How did you change your nonverbal communication in order to achieve your desired image? So you're answering both of these questions. However, don't forget that I still am going to use the same grading rubric. And if you click down here on the very end where it says grading rubrics for assignments, you will see that underneath here I do have the grading rubric for your discussion postings. And remember that although you're watching a TED Talk, I still am wanting you to do these things that I have listed underneath here. I would like you to, sorry about that, folks, my pup is watching a squirrel out the window, so forgive that, the barking noise. So I still, even though you're watching a TED Talk, I still do want you to make sure that you include definitions with page numbers from our book. And if you're looking for the A, you're going to include 4 definitions from our textbook with the page number cited. Now, I don't want you just to cite those definitions. I actually want you to apply them in your responses. That's what shows me, again, like I said about your paired interviews, that's what shows me that you understand that material, is that you're able to apply the concepts that we're reading about in our textbook to the TED Talk video. That's what shows me that you truly understand, and you can see that connection between what you're reading. So do go back to this as you're writing your discussion postings. Also go back and look at my comments on your first discussion posting to see if you missed something, if I made some comments there that you could improve upon for your second one. Remembering that you do need to respond to at least 2 classmates. Your responses need to be at least 50 to 75 words in length. And you do not need to cite or apply any text concepts in your responses to your classmates. I do really want to encourage you as well to make sure that you are checking your grammar, your punctuation. I know that this is an online forum, and it's really easy to slip into texting language where you're not capping the I and you're not using punctuation or you're not checking your grammar or your spelling. But remember that because this is a transfer level course, all of your writing does need to be at that college level. So please do take the time to do spell check and grammar check, and make sure that you're writing just like you would for a paper that you were turning in. I do want it written in that format. So there we are, folks. Have a wonderful weekend. It's supposed to be gorgeous this weekend. It's supposed to be 80 and sunny. So get out and enjoy our last little bit of sunshine and warm weather. Please, again, remember that I'm here. If you have questions about anything, please don't hesitate to email me. That's what I'm here for. So have a wonderful week, and let me know if you have any questions.